Hannah Schlarth. I'm a fifth-year PhD student in Sam Silva's group, and my work looks at the physical meteorology and air quality impacts of increased urban tree cover and urban greening in the Los Angeles basin. Urban areas are warmer than the rural surroundings, and this is because we have a lot of thermally massive and impervious surface cover. And one of the most often proposed ways to mitigate the urban heat island effect is to increase urban greening. However, there are a lot of competing effects when it comes to urban greening. For example, when we replace bare soil with things like trees and vegetation, we end up reducing albedo, which means we absorb more of the incoming solar radiation. Then on the air quality side, we have a lot of counterintuitive effects from urban greening. So for example, vegetation is actually an emission source of what are called biogenic emissions. And these lead to the production of ozone and particulate matter in our atmosphere. So in my work, I look at these sort of counterintuitive things about urban greening. So one thing that we found is that when we adjust for albedo of increasing urban vegetation in Los Angeles, is that we actually get surface temperature warming. In previous studies that have neglected this effect, they predict surface temperature cooling. So this is really important because we need to mitigate our urban heat island, and ideally we would get the cooling signal. But we need to be realistic when we are implementing these measures. On the other hand, when we increase biogenic emissions, we also get increased ozone concentrations throughout urban grid cells, and most notably in areas where we're further inland, so poor rural communities further inland in Los Angeles. That's super important because those communities won't be getting any of the potential cooling benefits of that vegetation. They're only getting the air quality cost. This work is super policy relevant in terms of optimizing our urban greening implementation in Los Angeles, and sort of introduces the idea that urban greening maybe isn't what we should be proposing for reducing air pollution in Los Angeles. Perhaps a better use of resources might be just reducing our anthropogenic emissions.